You're listening to All Talk. I'm Kevin Deitz. We are live at the Detroit Auto Show at Huntington Place in downtown Detroit. For President-elect Donald J. Trump, the beginning of his term is critical. It's crucial that he hits the ground running, focusing on the implementation of this agenda. However, a key hurdle that could slow his momentum down is the often lengthy Senate confirmation process for cabinet picks. While it's essential to ensure the right people are in place, it's just as important that Trump doesn't get bogged down in prolonged debates or delays, as a fast start can set the tone for his presidency, signaling both competence and efficiency to the American people. The quicker his key appointments are confirmed, the faster he can push his policy initiatives forward, from national security priorities to economic reforms. Pete Hegseth's confirmation hearing is underway right now, and you can watch it live at WJR.com. And that's going on right now. That's going to be fairly contentious, I understand. Joining us now is Dave Dulio, Director of the Center for Civic Engagement and Political Science Professor at Oakland University. Hey, Dave.
Kevin, good morning.
Appreciate you being here. This thing is possibly going to get very, very interesting. Pete Hegseth, his confirmation hearing underway. What will that set the tone for all of this? What do you think they'll throw at him?
Oh, I think Democrats are going to throw everything they can at him. I think, we have to set some context to these things in both the intention of them and the realities of them. And I think, this is part of the constitutional duty of the Senate to provide advice and consent over presidential nominees. And I think that those words are important, right? I mean, provide advice to the president on who should be in these positions, and then consent to them, right? And that's why they take a vote at the end of the day. But in reality, did I lose you?
Oh, yeah, you're back.
Okay, thanks. These days with, constant media attention, social media, et cetera, they're not much of that anymore, right? There's a lot of grandstanding. There's a lot of speech giving. So I think if folks tune in and watch these hearings or watch clips, you're going to see both Democrats and Republicans making statements much more than they are asking questions, or their questions are going to be really driven by the political points that they want to make.
More political theater? Is that what you're telling me?
Absolutely.
We gotta get the popcorn out and just watch people make statements for their, for their home crowd, I guess. So, but is it not a little different that, Donald Trump says he has this mandate that the American people have spoken that they want the country to go in a different direction? Is it not at all problematic for Democratic senators to get up there and just go after a win at any cost and not consider maybe the American people do want to go in a different way?
Well, I mean, let's remember, number one, some of these senators aren't up for re-election for several years. Many of them are from Democratic states, so that they really have no electoral electoral juice on the line. So they are really freed up to make any kind of, sort of try to score as many political points for their side as they can.
Is that what they'll do? Will they line up the people with the most years left till re-election to really go after them the hardest?
I think if we watch the hearings, it would not be crazy to think that the ones who are the most who provide the biggest challenges to Mr. Hegseth, are the ones with the safest electoral conditions.
So after Pete Hegseth, who else are they likely to go after, and most of these people will probably get through?
And I think that's a really good point, Kevin, right, is that there's going to be all of this drama and, as you say, political theater. But at the end of the day, most of these folks are going to get confirmed. I think for other contentious nominees, we have to look at Tulsi Gabbard and certainly RFK Jr.
Yeah, that's. I think you're right. Does Kash Patel have to be confirmed?
He does, yes.
As FBI director, yeah.
Yeah, and that can probably be pretty contentious too. But again, at the end of the day, if Republicans sort of circle the wagons around these folks, they have the votes in committee and on the floor to confirm every one of them.
Right. So talk about how it plays out. If Trump is able to get his cabinet in place fairly quickly, how does that make his first 100 days versus if this is prolonged and people don't pass the vote and they have to nominate new people and have additional hearings?
I think it sort of cuts both ways, right? Because on the one hand, yes, it's better for the president, any president, to have his senior leadership team in place as soon as possible. Having said that, right, the kinds of things that the president is going to look to accomplish, in terms of day one executive orders and then through the first, 100 days, which is, frankly, an arbitrary benchmark, but it's a fair one. They take so many more people and so many more people that are part of the giant bureaucracy that is the federal government, right? Just because, let's say that Pete Hegseth is in as Secretary of Defense by, end of the month. Great. But, he can issue directives and take orders from the president and try to carry those out. But, those are going to be reliant on, frankly, everybody else doing their job.
Yeah. So when you look at these nominations, do they put them in order of any sort of priority? I would imagine like you need your national security, law enforcement picks in place to take care of national security.
Sure, and I think that we would traditionally talk about this maybe not be the traditional phrase, but sort of the big four: defense, state, AG, and Treasury, right? Those are sort of, and those are I even think the first four that were created way back, closer to the founding. But again, you've got national security, you've got foreign affairs, you've got economy, and you've got the Justice Department, right? So I would think those are pretty high on the list, and then we go from there.
So when you look at these hearings, are there timetables on them? Do they have limits? Do they go on as long as the senators still have questions?
No, there are rules that are in place, and I think if memory serves, you'll see each senator get maybe 10 minutes of time that they control. And that's really where, you see some of the banter between the senator and the nominee, right? Where they're maybe sparring back and forth and the senator tries to reclaim his or her time because the nominee is grandstanding or filibustering, right? They want their time back so that they can be the ones talking. And there'll probably be 2 rounds at least of questions from each of the senators.
All right, Dave Dulio, Director of the Center for Civic Engagement, Political Science Professor at Oakland University. It'll be interesting to watch. We'll be talking with you shortly.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right. And you can watch the confirmation hearings at WJR.com. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to All Talk on WJR.